What's up, Moors in America? Doing some work on my website. Come across stuff like this all the time, and I just wanted to share it with y'all. Some gems. Can't share everything I see because it's so much stuff. But yeah. So just wanted to put this out there. You know, as usual, sharing the info. Spread it. Share the video. Like it. Let your friends, family know. Subscribe to the page if you didn't already. And check this out. And also go to the website, moresinamerica.com. And I'm about to do a screen share. Check this out. What's up, Moors in America? What's up? So, yeah, I'm working on my website. And I'm always coming across information. Don't always have time to share it. But I had to share this with y'all. Because basically, I was just looking at this law that shows how basically how the term Negro means you're a slave. Alright, and it's just one more example. I've done this before, and I just wanted to reiterate this because, excuse me, I think it's pretty important. I know a lot of people overlook it, and I don't know why. I don't know why even in this day and age anyone is still running with that term black, you know? Running with the term African American or anything else that we don't even define or create for ourselves. I don't get it. I don't understand when it's, you know, the information is out here, it's been out here, and we're not making it up. It's in law. Okay, so here's just one more example. The video will have the description, and we'll have the sources and everything in the description, of course. And also you can go to moresinamerica.com, bookmark it, share with your share with your friendlies, alright? With your friends and family. Let everybody know. Get the word out there, okay? Because we're getting the truth out. So yeah, man, it's messed up. But we gonna hit on it, and I'm gonna start in section 4. Okay, this is an act that it's called the Negro Law. I'm not making this up. It's in South Carolina, right? So this act, the 1740, right? Basically, it's about the status of the Negro, his rights and disabilities. Okay, so the Negro is such a big deal that this guy, John Belton O'Neill, who's like he was a judge in the Supreme Court, in South Carolina, right? He wound up becoming like the Speaker of the House of Representatives and stuff there. So anyway, this guy wrote this book about what to do with the Negro, and basically they wrote these laws. Okay, so in section 4 it says the Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers and their descendants. Excuse me, it does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars, right? So this is saying basically that okay, the Negro is a slave, and then it doesn't. This doesn't apply to free Africans like Egyptians, Moors, or Negro Asiatics. If you look at like people like Noble Drew Ali back in his time, they were trying to get people out of those terms of Negro and colored, and referring to us as Asiatics and Moorish Americans, right? Because they understood this. They understood what was going on, and were trying to help us get remedy and get out of that situation. Okay, because this is a made-up term. I'm not saying that Negro didn't have any meaning. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying that legally, okay, they created a meaning for it, and they boxed us in. They didn't try, they boxed us in there. Okay? And so the whole Moorish American movement is about getting us out of the box, placing us back in the status, back into the human family. Okay? I'm gonna get into that deeper though. All right, but if you look at the census, right? Even the modern census, because a lot of times they use the census to get people into these messed up situations. So if you look at the census, right, and the 2010, that was the latest census. The terminology and stuff gets updated a little bit, like. We don't go around saying Negro anymore. It was Negro, then you know, a couple years later, you know, generation or two later, they started calling you colored. And then after like 20, 30, 40 years, they started easing us into black. And then, you know, after comfortable being black, they're Afro-Americans. And then in the 80s, African Americans, you know. And then I mean, like, we're waking up, you know, and people aren't going for this stuff forever, so they got to keep updating every 2 generations. No more than 2, I mean, no less than 2 generations, no more than like 3 or they can't keep using the same term, okay, because this isn't who we really are. You know, it's like in the future they're gonna have to, you know, start calling us niggas, you know, N-I-G-G-A, because it's like we're not gonna keep going for this stuff, you know, and that's stupid. You gotta be real stupid if you're gonna go along with that. But I'm just saying, plus society is like, you know, degenerate, so yeah, pretty soon they're gonna be calling you niggas, and that's gonna be your official name. And you know, some people rather go off of that than have a nationality. But like, back to the census, okay, when we're looking at the census, right, this is really messed up. Like, they show you here how being a Negro means you're a slave. All right, in section 1, it declares all Negroes and Indians to be slaves. Okay, so Negroes mean slave. There's this book called Negro, in the Negro, beast or in the image of God, or created in the image of God. And this was a book that was in law libraries all over the country, and still is. And it's also still used as case law. Like, it's used to base laws and things that are written and things that deal with us. And this stuff is not like, none of this stuff got thrown away. Like this definition basically of the term Negro and what it means and how it makes you a slave, this stuff didn't get thrown away. So if we look at the census from 2010, where it basically breaks down the concept of race, it says a white person, white, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa, whose people indicate their race is white, from Irish, German, Italian, whatever, blah, 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 Arab, Moroccan, Caucasian, right? A black or African American. I'm going to save the worst for last. All right, we're going to go to African American, Indian, and Alaskan Native. And it says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South Central America, and who maintain tribal affiliations, right? Then it lists tribes. Okay. And then we're going to go to Asian. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or Indian subcontinent, endless, Cambodian, all this stuff, Korean. Okay, then we go to Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. Once again, this is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, or other Pacific Islands, Samoa. But then we go to Black or African American. It says a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Includes people who indicate their race is black, African American, or Negro, or report entries such as African American, Kenyan, Nigerian, or Haitian. Right? They hate Haitians. So, did y'all catch that? Did anybody catch that? Because, like, everybody has origins in the original peoples of somewhere, except for the lowly the lowly Negro, black or African American, right? That's what they call the Negro today, right? So we're gonna recap this, because some people, probably most people, overlook this, say it ain't a big deal, doesn't matter, just a coincidence. And I get it. Excuse me, I get it totally. And people, you know, there's too much going on. You got enough on your plate in life to be having to pay attention to the wording, and to be having to actually look at things, and especially reading the fine print. Ain't nobody reading the fine print out here, you know? Nobody reading the fine print. People are trying to look at everything and see what's going on, and, you know, especially thinking outside the box and reading and studying for themselves, and thinking that you got to look out for yourself. That maybe the government don't always have your best interests at heart, you know? That's too much, right? Everybody ain't trying to do that. You want to just be able to think, hey, it's cool. Yes, they was hanging us and beating us and killing us and burning us up, but they cool now. It's alright. It's all good. So I get it. People ain't trying to think that hard about it. But look, man, this ain't a coincidence. White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, North Africa. American Indian, person having origins in any of the original peoples of North, South, Central America. Y'all get that, right? Asian, person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, India. The Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Pacific Islands. But that black, that African American, that's a person having origins in any of the black racial group, any of the black racial groups of Africa. It could be Ghana, it could be South Africa, it could be Zimbabwe, it could be any of the black racial groups of Africa. Okay, any of them. Alright? And for all we know, nobody considers themselves a black racial group. Everybody has their own tribal, nationality. Alright? So nobody's claiming you. Ain't nobody claiming you. Alright? Ain't nobody like, yo, okay, we got y'all. Y'all came from here. We got you. Come back home or something. Nobody's claiming you. And I'm not knocking the continent of Africa. It's a continent. You can't knock a continent. I have nothing against the motherland. I'm just being real. This is a messed up status to be in. Why would anybody be trying to run with this? In this day and age with all this information out there. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. These are word games. This is semantics. It was created to box you in. Everyone else, even the last people to arrive on the planet, have origins in the original peoples or somewhere. But you don't if you are running with this status, if you're boxed into that status, And collectively, all of us are boxed in there. If there's anybody who's like, claiming a Moorish American status and they're acting like they up here and you down there, they're full of it. We're all boxed in. Okay? Until enough of us do what we're supposed to do to get out of that box, we're all boxed in. We're all in this. I'm not going to curse, but we're all in here together. Alright? So, hopefully some of y'all caught that. Like, Hispanic's not a race. That's why, you could be Asian and be Hispanic. You could be Native American, black, white, and be Hispanic. Nah. They're just going off of this, man. Everyone has origins in the original people, except for those blacks. Alright? So you don't want to be in that box. It has nothing to do with pride and loving yourself. Because it's like, chances are you don't... I ain't going to say that. But a lot of people, they're not as proud and, and love themselves as much as I do. I'm definitely not on some self-hate shit. I can say that, for a fact. And a lot of people can't. So that has nothing to do with it. It's about being who you truly are. Okay? We're not truly African American. This was created for us. That doesn't mean that, don't have any origins or ancestors who came from Africa. To be honest with you, some of you might be extremely dark-skinned, and you have Irish ancestors, you have Chinese ancestors. Everyone has mixed ancestry, especially in the Americas, from North, South to Central America. Everyone. Alright? So, I'm not even talking about that. And it's definitely not about self-hate. It's about getting out of these things. These are labels that were created by the same people who were lynching us. Alright? This is all part of the process. Coming along with Bibles and stuff and acting like you want peace and to be cool. And then slowly poisoning the people, trying to take their land from them, tricking them out of the land, outright going to war with them, with the tribes, and then getting them out of of their standing, getting the children, selling them off into slavery, telling them they came from somewhere else, telling these people you don't know where they came from. Nobody does. Ain't nobody claiming you. This is what you are. Okay, that's what that is. And this is why the status of the Negro, basically means slave. This is one of the reasons why. Now, another thing I wanted to hit on is right here. Section 1, 1740, the Act of 1740 declares all Negroes and Indians to be slaves, the offspring to follow the condition of the mother, and that such slaves are chattel personnel. So when it says it declares all Negroes and Indians to be slaves, in parentheses it says free Indians in amity with this government, Negroes, mulattoes, and mestizos who are now free are all considered to be slaves. So didn't matter if you were a Negro or an Indian, you were a slave. And as you can see, they're still using this wording and terminology today. They're still using black and African American just like they use Negro to remove you from the human family. Okay? You're not of any original peoples. That's what they wanted to say. They had to. You're important. Even if you're nobody and you're not doing anything with your life, you're important for this reason. So, this section 2 goes even further. It says, under the provision, it has been uniformly held that color is prima facie evidence that the party bearing the color of the Negro, mulatto, or mestizo is a slave. But the same prima facie result does not follow from the Indian color. So what does that mean? What do all these words mean? That's why I was saying, like, they can put all these words here right in your face, and like, to me, this like is evidence. This shows exactly what they did. Okay, but for a lot of people, this would mean nothing, because it's like, who is paying attention to what the House of Representatives is doing right now? Who's going through and reading these laws right now, today? It's a lot, and everybody's got a lot on their plate. Even people who aren't really doing anything. You got video games, you got TV. Some of y'all in the celebrity gossip. That's all you talk about. The housewives and all this stuff. I don't even know any of these stupid shows. The people talking about celebrities, what this rapper and that rapper's doing, video games, sports. There's plenty on your plate. You are not trying to keep up with this stuff, and especially all these words. All right, and so this is how they got you. Okay, and it's the same as it was then. So this basically is saying, in plain. Well, not plain. I'm going to put it in layman's terms. Okay, but when it's saying that color is prima facie evidence that the party bearing the color of the Negro, mulatto, and mestizo is a slave, it's saying, look, we're going to base you being a slave off of your skin color. And if you are brown, that's evidence that you are a slave. You're Negro. Negro means slave. But you being brown doesn't prove that you're Indian. Not anymore. Look, in 1828, Webster's dictionary, the definition of American was a native of America, originally applied to the aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Why? Why the 1828 definition? The Webster dictionary. Why does that matter? First off, a lot was going on in 1828. If you can imagine, look at the laws that were being made in 1740. All right, in 1828, they're still going to war. They're still at war with the Indians, trying to get them off the land. They're constantly moving forward, making treaties and breaking the treaties and keep pushing them, taking their land and turning them into Negroes. All right, enslaving them. As you can see, this declares all Negroes and Indians to be slaves. So this is going on at the time. All right, this is the climate. This is what's going on. It's the takeover. They wanted to make this whiter. They wanted to be the true Americans, and they wanted to replace you. Okay, so even by their own definitions, in the time, Even what is this, 1828? Even like 80 years later, from 1740, their dictionaries still show that a Native of America was a copper-colored person, was a dark brown-skinned person that was found here by the Europeans. That's a native. Everybody knows that or knew that, right? But guess what? You can't use that for evidence to show that you're an Indian. That's evidence that you're a Negro now and that you're a slave. Okay? So if you're trying to prove that you're Indian, the burden of proof on you is going to be heavy. Alright? That's what this means. Alright? It's saying the color is the evidence that the party is bearing the color of the Negro and is a slave. But that does not mean you're Indian. So it used to, now it doesn't. That's what they're saying. And this is, there's another video on this channel from Indian to Black, Civilita Mortis. We show the law, basically break it down to you how they declared the Montauk Indians extinct. You know, they're in there. A whole bunch of tribal members are in the court, in the Supreme Court. The chief of the tribe, the king, Wyandotte Farrell's there. The judge knows who he is. Everyone knows who he is in the community. They bring all these white, people in the community come out and say, oh, I think he's a Negro. I thought he was black. I always thought he was a Negro. And so the judge declares him a Negro and declares the tribe extinct, with all these tribal members in there who have their tribal affiliations still carrying on some of the traditions. Calling this man the king, the chief. Everyone knows that they're the Montauk Indians. They declared them Negroes. Okay? And said that their tribe's extinct. Alright? So it don't matter what narrative you're coming from. Even if you're like, say you're of the Mongoloid stock of Indians that you usually see like in Vancouver, Washington area of the country, some of the Plains Indians, or you're one of these guys who's barely Indian, you're white basically. Okay, even if you're coming, you can't get mad off of this, because even if you're coming from the narrative that all black people came from Africa, and some of them mixed in with the tribes and stuff like that, even off of that narrative, this is wrong, because they're just as Indian as you are if you're white. Even off of that narrative, that's wrong. You got people who's carrying on the tribal tradition, they have the bloodline in them, and the tribe's just going to declare them Negro. So you should all be fighting this if you're real. Y'all not real though, but I'm just saying, like, this is what happened, and this is what this means. And I'm putting this into words because everybody, like I said, everybody got full plate. Ain't nobody trying to think that deep about anything. Okay? And there's a lot of BS here to take your mind off of stuff. Netflix always putting stuff out. They're always showing you things, new video games. Oh, there's so many distractions.
Legal marijuana.
Yeah, marijuana's being legal now. It's spreading so that you can calm down.
Don't worry about this shit.
Yeah, don't hustle. Don't try to be successful. Just be cool and content and get high, man. Just, at least you could get that bag, Don't worry about nothing. Don't try to take over the world. So, this is crazy. So nobody would get that from looking at this, because you have to think deeply and you have to think outside the box. It's just a bunch of words. Like I said, who is paying attention? Are you paying attention to what the Supreme Court's doing in your state? No, probably not. Would you even know what it says? Even if you're reading the law, would you know what it says? Because the words that they're using, is going to go over most people's heads. The average American, the reading level, what is the average adult's reading level like 7th grade, 6th grade reading level? So there's no way in hell you're going to understand this stuff, It takes some work and patience, for all of us.
And research.
Even if you think you're smart, for all of us, man. I'm definitely not sitting up here on some pedestal, And like I said, man, any Moors that you see or know of who's sitting up here acting like they're better off or like they're doing better than you, they're full of it, because like I was saying, we're all in it together. Like, at least until enough of us, decide to do something else. We're all in this together. All right. But yeah, I just wanted to hit on that because like this thing says every Negro, Indian, mulatto, mestizo is a slave unless the contrary can be made to appear. And then it says the Indians in enmity with this government accepted, in which the burden of proof shall lie on the defendant, that is, on the person claiming the Indian plaintiff to be a slave. The latter clause of the
true. Because, like, what they do with the Indians who was fighting against the pipeline on their own land. Slaves can't fight for land. Slaves can't fight for,
Well, they don't, like, that's the thing, because some people, want to claim the tribal status and everything, and I get that, even though you don't really know, like, what, other mixtures and stuff you have going on, but I get that. That's what you want to roll with. I get it. I respect it. But at the same time, man, the Indians, like, unless I'm mistaken, Indians are 15th Amendment corporate, whatever you want to call it, somewhat citizens, just like Negroes, 14th Amendment, partial citizens, corporations. We're not even real citizens. So Indian and Negro, as this says, are slaves.
Oh, yeah.
So you're trying to trade one label for another. It's no better. And like she was saying about the pipeline, if they had any power, they wouldn't have to fight to keep people from drilling on their land.
Right.
Where's their army? Where's their, where's their navy? Where's their, Marines is going to come in and be like, get the out of here, Come on, man. There's no power in that. There's nothing in that. They can't go to the United Nations and get things done. They can't go and invade anyone. They can't, stand their ground. They can't do anything.
Right, but there's power in numbers in your nationality. And that's why Noble Drew Ali brought this information so that we can grow in numbers under one nation and actually have some kind of power.
Yeah, so, and like, that's why, Noble Drew Ali and them, were saying, using that wording at the time. They understood what was going on. Just like this says, the term Negro is confined to slave Africans and their descendants. Slave Africans. Ancient Berbers. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics. And this was the terminology Noble Drew Ali was using. Hey, we're Moors, we're Moorish Americans, we're Asiatics. So I don't see why anyone's fighting against that. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm Cherokee, I'm this and that, and even these terms are, like a lot of these tribal names that we have now, these were names that were, anglicized so that the Europeans could pronounce them, And then to try to go up under the tribal status, like, there's no remedy in there. They have no power. It's not improving the situation for anyone. And then the burden of proof is on you, because you are of the browner hue. If you're of the browner hue, you're a Negro, like it or not. This thing says it. Everything says it. Hey, it used to apply to the Aboriginals of the copper color races, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. And that's not just saying like because anyone born in America is American. No, this was a switcheroo. Alright? That's what they consider American now. And also Native American. And you, Black and African American, you don't have origins in the original peoples. Everyone else does, except for you. So why would you want to be under that status? It has nothing to be with proud. Just because James Brown, is a legend. He made the song "I'm Black and I'm Proud." That doesn't mean, that you have to run with it. Okay? He probably didn't know this stuff. It's like, come on, man. If he did, and James Brown's Native American, you can look at him and tell he's a Native American. Come on, man, get out of here. This was a, this is semantics. This is word game. This is played on us. This is chess. This is, this is how it's done, man. Checkmate. That's how they got us. It's just one of the ways. They also physically, you know, did terrorism and stuff on us, but this is how legally they boxed us in. Okay, so I don't see why anyone's trying to run with these titles. I just wanted to put that out there because Negro means slave, black means slave, African American, all this stuff means slave, you know, and there's really nothing else you can do about it. There's nothing you can say about it. Hey, this is not a coincidence. Black African American has no origins in the original people of Africa or anywhere else. Okay, this is not a coincidence. It wasn't just put in here for no reason. When they do things like the census and they get all these people to out of their own, without being coerced, without being forced to check these designations of what you consider yourself, you're doing it now to yourself. All right, so that's horrible, and it's not a coincidence, man. Everyone else, even white people, are original people except for you. Come on, man. All right, wake up, y'all. Black Panther, Morris Panther. All right, wake up. I'm out of here. Y'all share this video. Share it with everybody. Share it on Facebook, everywhere. Tag everybody in it. Spread it. Tell your family and friends and subscribe to the page. Tell everybody to subscribe and go to moresinamerica.com, man. This ain't no joke. This is not a joke. This is for real, man. All right.